Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my weekly deck reviews. I have a bunch of stuff to share with you, so I'm gonna just hop right in. But if you are new here, remember that I do this video every single week. I like to tell you about the decks I've been working with over the past week, how they read for me, what my experiences were like, and then tell you what I'm gonna be working with next week. So let's just jump right in. So this week I have been working with The Way of the Panda Tarot by Kimberly San and illustrated by Celia LaBelle. This is what the box looks like. This is the Kickstarter edition. You can currently buy this deck, but it is called the Dream Edition and it comes in a blue box. The guidebook, which you can buy separately, has a blue cover, like up here where it's green. That's basically the only difference as far as I know. There are some bonus cards in the Kickstarter edition that I don't think are in the Dream Edition, but I could be wrong about that. But let's talk about this deck. So it comes in a really nice two-part box that's really good and sturdy. The cardstock is delicious. I don't know what it is about the box, but the box is also really nice. It's like really smooth. It must be the coating on it, but it's real nice cardstock on that box. The deck itself comes with a little white book, which I will admit I spent no time with at all this week because I was working with the bigger book a lot. But from what I can tell, I'll just show you this page of, is that the page of swords? Knight of Swords, this Knight of Swords message right here. You can tell there is a ton of personality even in the little white book. Kim did such an amazing job putting this whole thing together and bringing the world of the pandas to life. I can't even begin to tell you how fantastic my experience with this deck has been because of the love and the heart she put into it. So here are the backs of the cards. They're beautiful. As you can see, my Peggy bag is like a perfect match for this back. Could not be more thrilled with that. These are really luscious cardstock too. They're really flexible, but they feel like they're probably like a 350 GSM. They're really nice, smooth, matte, really bright colors. I could go on and on and on, and I probably am going to, so I will try to keep it a little bit realistic. But I'll show you some images. This deck was a dream to work with, mostly I would say because of the love and attention given to the guidebook and the world. I do find that some of the symbols you really need to pay attention, and I think that if you know Rider-Waite-Smith, this deck will be a beautiful, easy read for you. I think that if you were new to tarot, definitely get this deck with the big guidebook because it will give you so much more than you expect. I think that a lot of these cards just have a ton of personality. I love this Chariot card. There's a lot of personality and there's a lot of cohesiveness throughout the whole deck that makes it really something you can sink into, and that's something I really appreciate. It's one of my favorite things about tarot is when you get to sort of throwing my cards around. It's when you get to explore, that's the word I was looking for. Explore a new world through the lens of the tarot. So images, beautiful. The artwork is stunning. Love the world. Really enjoyed working with these. Fun to shuffle because they're like the perfect cardstock. They're really, really good. But I really want to spend some time talking about the book. Now, when I first dug into this deck last weekend, I spent almost an entire day just going through the deck and reading the intro for every single card. So I've pretty much made my way through the entire book, and there's a few things I want to share. So in the beginning, I've got my little flaggies, you see? In the beginning of this book, there is a panda quiz called How Much of a Panda Are You? And I feel like I need to tell you guys that I scored really high on this quiz. It says that I am a panda in human skin. I am panda, panda, panda. My worldview is simple, colorful, and pure. I am less impressed by shiny things edged with gold. I value meaning and the genuine expression of a moment. Others may be fooled by your unalarming appearance, but once they get to know you, they will discover the rich layers and textures within your personality, and it just goes on. It's so fun. This was such a fun thing to do. I really enjoyed that, so that's cool. If you get this deck, do the quiz. Super fun. There's also a really cool little visualization exercise in the beginning called Entering the Panda Kingdom. I totally did this. It was super rewarding and really a great way to set the tone for working with the deck. Other things I wanted to share. For every major arcana card, there is a spread you can play with, and throughout the week as I pulled different major arcana cards in my draws or in my readings, I almost always followed up with one of those spreads to play, but my favorite was the Justice section, or the Justice card, because the Justice card spread was all about, I loved this. Liam, who is the character in the Justice card, says, his guide to conquering the world. Boundaries, they are important. Thank you, next. Those are his tips. I just loved it. And then there is a spread called the Panda Foot, which is basically all about what is challenging your boundaries and basically exploring boundaries. And that's in the Justice card. And I just thought it was so well done. I loved that spread. I used it like 3 times this last week. And then the other thing I wanted to share, because I just wanted to share this little blurb because it gives you an idea of the feel of how readable and approachable this book is. So there's these like little blurbs in text boxes that you'll find throughout the book. But in the Nine of Wands, at the end, because each card, it talks to you about that particular panda and like what they're like and all of this kind of thing. So at the end of this Nine of Wands card, and that character's name is Striker, it says, in case you didn't know, Striker's favorite yoga pose is the happy baby pose. When he's not intensely contemplating what he should do next and moping slightly over stunted efforts, he whips out a few happy baby rolls to keep himself limber. Why is he telling you this, you may ask? Well, the author needed a space filler, so this page won't have a gaping text hole. But after a few rounds of editing and proofing, there turns out to be no gaping text hole at all. But this segment seems too fun to delete, so the author has chosen to keep it for your amusement. And there are, like, I kid you not, like throughout this book, there are adorable little snippets, so much personality, probably one of the funnest guidebooks I've ever encountered in my life and probably ever will encounter. Kim knocked it out of the park. This is amazing. And I can't even express how special and unique this is. And I think it's definitely worth checking out. You know, I mean, cute may not be your aesthetic, and Way of the Panda Tarot definitely has a heck of a lot of cute, and the book follows suit, but it is so fun and its voice is so unique that I can't recommend it enough. I'm so happy that I jumped on this. And when I first backed this deck on Kickstarter, I actually only backed the deck, so I would have just gotten the deck with the little white book. And then shortly before the Kickstarter campaign ended, I upgraded to include the Book of Pandas, and this is such a treasure that if you're gonna get the deck, if you can afford it and it's reasonable for you, get the big book. The little book also looks super adorable, and to be fair, I didn't spend any time with it. It might be really, really, really good all by itself, but this is so good that I just hate for anybody to miss it. So that is my thoughts on that. It was so much fun to play with this week. The Oracle deck that I have been working with this week is the Roots and Wings Oracle deck, and this one is by Kat Riles. And this is what the backs look like. I did, as I mentioned, use the little spread that comes with it, and it was really good. It's called the Garden Spread. So you get a card with this spread with the deck, and then there's another card that lets you know what all the spread positions are, and that just lives with my deck, so that was really nice and easy to use. Loved that spread so much. I really, really enjoyed my time with this deck. It was so easy to read, super intuitive. I really enjoyed the sort of dreamy quality to the artwork. I loved the aesthetics of the deck. It's really nice cardstock. Same cardstock thickness as the Way of the Panda, so probably 350 GSM. Rose petal finish. Oh, heavenly. Shuffles like a dream. A little hard with rose petal finish to get the cards together after a rifle and bridge, but it's fine. You adjust, right? But I love this artwork, and it worked so well with the Panda Tarot that I would definitely pair them again in the future. And I felt like this Oracle deck has almost a tarot-like feel to it, and in fact there are some tarot-like cards such as the Sun, the Lovers, maybe not the Sun, but I know the Lovers is in there. There's a Strength card in here. So if you enjoy tarot, this might be a really nice Oracle deck to work with. I really use this. I use this several times for spreads all by itself, and it reads just as balanced and intuitive as tarot does for me, which is unusual for oracles. I only have a couple oracles I can use that way, and this is definitely one of them. So it's, uh-oh, loud traffic. Sorry. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed this. This is probably now in my top 5, possibly my top 3 for Oracle decks, which I expected it to be. I knew it was right up my alley when I got it, so super happy with this. We'll definitely be reading with it a lot. I think this would also pair really well with the Luminous Void Tarot, so that will probably be the next time that I use this, will be with that deck, because I just think it would go really well. So that is what I worked with this week. Really had fun. Almost sad to put them away. And the reading cloth I worked with this week, which you may have seen on my Instagram, is this beautiful bamboo, which of course matches the way of the panda. But on the back is this really nice sort of neutral, almost purple toned gray. It's not purple toned, but in my brain I often see a little bit of purple in it. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's definitely just gray. It's just the way my eyes work, I guess. But this worked beautifully under my cards and I really enjoyed it. As always, I'm continuing to work with my gorgeous, still smells so yummy, wooden runes. These are made of pine and they're made by somebody locally here. And they're just wonderful. I've really been enjoying adding a rune to every tarot card that I draw. So even when I did a couple of larger spreads, not every time, but a couple of times when I did larger spreads, I would put a tarot card, an oracle card, and a rune for each position. And I really enjoy the way that runes interplay with my tarot, and I've been continuing to enjoy that as part of my practice. Next week. Okay, I'm so excited to tell you guys about this because this came about really in an interesting way. I actually may have talked about this deck in an anti-haul. I can't be for sure. But as I said in my anti-hauls, I reserve the right to change my mind. So here's what happened. This deck came out on Kickstarter, the Wild Messengers Alchemical Tarot. I'll show you what the cards look like. Here's the backs. They have this really gorgeous, like, glossy embossed snakeskin design on the back, and the rest of the cards are matte front and back. This cardstock, I will say, feels a little bit thin. It's probably 310 GSM. It might be 330, but it feels really thin to me. But they do feel sturdy, and I think that's partly because of the glossy texture on the back. They're really pretty, but I had no interest in backing this deck on Kickstarter at all. I just felt like it was animals, there's no keywords, there's a whole lot of reasons why this shouldn't be my jam. But here's what happened. I have a thing that happened. So I went to a local meetup with Ethany and a few other people from our local tarot community, and Ethany had a copy of this book and she gave it to me. And I was flipping through it at tea and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'd really like to look at it. And my intent was to enjoy reading the book, enjoy reading the messages, and maybe working with it with some other decks, seeing what I thought. But you guys, this book is incredible. And ever since I got it, I have been every single day, no matter what deck I'm working with, whatever my daily tarot draw of the day was, I was also looking up the card in this book and seeing what the Wild Messenger tarot card had to say about it. And it's just continued to blow me away. It has a very strong self-love, self-worth, and personal growth theme that runs throughout the entire guidebook. It is based on alchemical principles, and there's actually a section in the back of the book that talks about the alchemical stages. It's very approachable. I would say it's alchemy light, but it really piqued my interest about alchemy in general, and I've now read like most of the guidebook, really. I've read the intro, I've read all the stuff at the end, and I've been reading every day. Even when I was working with the Panda Tarot and other decks, I've been reading the entries for those cards. Falling in love with the guidebook the way that I did, I had to have the deck. So I reached out to the creators of the deck and ordered just the deck. So now I have the deck to go with the guidebook, and I'm going to be using this exclusively next week. I will be working with this deck with the guidebook, which often is a deal breaker for me with other decks, but the guidebook is just so good and I'm already so attached that I have to try. So this is what I'm doing this week for my tarot deck. The Oracle deck that I'm going to be working with this week is the Animal Kin Oracle by Sarah Wilder. It's in a box like this. This is a Hay House publication, but it was originally an independent deck. It does come with a really nice chunky book, and the book inside has black and white images. It has a good little bit of information on it. There are suits in this deck, and I have talked about this deck before on my channel, so if I remember, I will link up my last weekly deck review up in the cards so you can see what I thought about it the last time I worked with it, or my video talking about this deck in more detail, because I think I have an animal decks comparison video. But I really like working with this, and I just wanted to flow with the animal energy this week and work with the two decks together. So I will be doing that. I'll let you know how they work out. I'm really excited to play with it, and we'll see what happens. The reading cloth that I'm working with this week is this really pretty dragonfly one that Peggy made me, of course. All my things are from Peggy, but I really liked this purple and gold, and I thought with the alchemical tarot, this might be a really pretty accompaniment. So that's what I'm going to be playing with this week. I would love to hear what you are currently working with. Let me know down below. What are you playing with? What's out on your reading table? What tarot decks and oracle decks are like flipping your switches right now? I want to know. Tell me. I'm nosy and I need to know things. But I hope you guys have a really great rest of your week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. And I will see you all again very soon. Bye!